Hi.
Hello.
I can see you've had fun with
Yeah, I love doing the cartoony faces. Actually, I wanted to ask you, Aditi, also whether we could learn how to do like caricatures. Like you look at. I saw a lovely. I think I saw a YouTube or something, or a picture of these people who do animation,
uh-huh.
and they sit with a face, a little mirror in front of them,
Uh-huh.
a stand mirror, and then they
Yeah.
make all these expressions, and then
Uh-huh.
follow the line of their eyebrows and eyes and mouth, and get, just like an outline character. No, not detailed,
Yeah.
but at least you kind of capture an expression, which is so difficult to do. It's the expression I can copy but own, character, to build our own little character. Maybe we could just think of one character based on our face, the
Yeah.
asshole. So, something like that, and then do all kinds of expressions with it. Just one kind of character for each person would be.
Um,
Hi, Nita.
we could try that.
Hello, hello.
Some time when time can have something like that with you are teaching us faces that last the children do.
Your
You
sorry,
have
your,
the children.
your voice is breaking up,
Yeah.
Elaine. Yeah.
Wonder why.
Maybe it's just a bandwidth issue. Sometimes it just keeps up.
So you had taught us the children's animation, just simple what you're teaching them. So that would be something a little more like if I wanted to draw just illustration for something, or a card
Yeah.
or comic strip or some character.
I'll just do a little bit of a study on this and let me see what I can come up with. There are definitely some techniques that we can use. In the meantime, I'm just wondering, there's some setting on our phones now or on some app where you can create an avatar of yourself. So you click different pictures of yourself and then it processes it and
Into a
WhatsApp.
into some
Some
kind of
WhatsApp.
thing. WhatsApp has it.
Yeah.
So
huh? It does.
that's
Oh,
one good
that.
way of starting this because then you get to see a slightly less defined version of your face, which then you can distill further and make fewer lines. So that could be a good starting point, I think.
Yeah, that could absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, they have that round face, and you put gray hair, but it looks nothing like you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they tried it. They tried their best. Okay. Oh, Alicia is typing something. Let me just see what she's up to. Oh, she won't be joining today.
Oh,
Okay, let me finish this addressing.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
so
Hi. Elaine, those are so cute.
thank you. But I just copied from the net. I wish I could do something like that. I will try.
Yeah, I was trying to do some from pictures of friends. But yeah, I'm having trouble doing the ones that are looking to the side because, of the various bumps that we have once we look to the side. It's not always a curve, like a neat curve.
It's not.
There's one above the eyebrows and one around the mouth if you're smiling and one for the cheeks. So I'm having trouble doing that.
Yeah, when you change the angle of the face, a lot of things change. Not just the curves, but the shape of the eyeball also
I,
changes. So
oh,
yeah, the iris becomes more oval. If you land up making it circular, then it starts looking very weird because it just looks like a very wide eye. And there's some things that we cannot spot because we're thinking art. We're not actually drawing it as we see. So one good step is to Well, draw those parts in that orientation. So do a study of the eyes looking sideways, looking at 3/4 without the rest of the face. So you're focusing on the shape, not so much the role of that shape as an eye in the face. So it's isolated, but we have some right now. Today's lesson, we have uh, these little bits of faces.
Are you getting a cold, Aditi? Or are you just sad or what?
Am I looking sad?
You're looking like, yeah, your eyes are looking, or you're getting a cold, one of the two.
No, I'm not getting a cold. I just woke up after a quick nap
Okay,
before
then
class.
it's fine.
No.
Then it's fine. That's it.
And that quick nap was it was a disaster because till then I had no phone calls, and that 15-minute gap, I had 3 phone calls. I don't know why it works like that. The world knew, the universe knew that I was napping. Okay, so I have sent out 2-3 different types of photographs. Let me just go over the pictures and I'll explain why I have shared these. So here we have just a face looking in the front. This one looks to the side. So I tried to look for a similar face that looks in the front and the side. Very distinctive nose. This might be the same model also, I don't know. Then we have a plaster or a marble statuette. Now these were made almost like the epitome of perfection. So there were no wrinkles, everything was very smooth, and we get to see very nice shades over here and a very nice graduation of shadow from one to the other side. Then I have shared an extremely wrinkled eye, not the whole face, but just the eye, to do a study with this particular image may have as many shades and shapes as this does. So we do a study of just this. And then I have given you random face parts. So you have noses, a mouth, an eye, and then also sketches of how you can see these images or these objects as sketches. Because we don't see, here we can see the lines. It's easier for us to replicate this in terms of lines. But if we look back, it may be the same lip, but you don't see the lines here. So the intention is to be able to see this picture also as what you would make with lines. I'm going to just use straight lines and create a sketch here. So check angles. Even a curved line is made up of small straight lines. See? So instead of making one big line, break it up, it becomes a lot easier to angle your shapes and get the right angle. See? And it also becomes easier to then make a curved line on top of this, because it's almost as if you have to coast over the bumps. Okay, so this is why this is easy, because we are used to making short span lines. What is difficult is to see these lines on the photograph and translate that on paper. For me, it's easy over here right now because I'm making it on the picture itself. But for when we do it on paper, we have to imagine that shape on blank paper and do it. All right? Okay. So we are first going to try to do the, sorry, what am I doing? First, we'll try to do these individual parts. We're just going to sketch them. Take any nose you like, any mouth. And we just have, sorry, just one mouth and one eye we have. You could also try sketching this nose or these mouths. It's up to you. But sketch these parts first. Take about 10 minutes each, not more than that. And then we are going to try and sketch this face. And I'll come to how you can go about sketching this face. But I want you to become familiar with sketching of the uh, parts of the face. You could also try sketching this. All right. In this process also, I want you to be able to change all this information into shapes. Do not look at what it is, just look at it as a shape. So this is the shape. This is the shape. Break it up completely. Okay, shall we try? Now, as usual, if you are going to see the picture on your phone, keep it right next to where you're going to draw. Don't keep your phone up and keep your book down here. Don't change the plane. If you're watching this on a laptop or an upright device screen, then sit back in your chair and hold your book perpendicular to the reference image. So hold your book like this. Your screen will be upright in front. So your eye just moves in the same plane. That will reduce chances of misinterpreting information. Each line can immediately be checked for accuracy. And don't make these shapes too large also. Oh, I have shared both left eyes. Let me give one more right eye. Okay, we have these eyes now. So let me show you. I'm doing the last one that I've just shared. So start off with a lot of room around. And first give yourself just shapes like that. Don't make any firm lines. So you start seeing the object in these shapes. So you can start building up everything with just these very light shapes instead of going in very dark. So look only for angles, the usual size, shape. I'm going to add a few more angles, directions, which are basically concerns of shape, lengths of lines. Placement and proportion. And literally for every line, we need to think about these things. That's all we need to do. How long do we make it? In what direction do we make it? And in proportion to the previous line, where do I stop? And then it's a matter of shade. Shading and texture. So whenever you are stumped at what to do, you just ask yourself, what size do I have to make it? What shape do I have to make it? In order to make the shape, what are the angles, directions, and lengths of lines that I make? Where do I place them? In proportion to what? And after that is done, what is the shade? So is it light, dark? Where is the highlight? So a 10-minute sketch would be very casual. It's not expected to be, it is still realistic, but it is meant to be very loose. Now you'll notice that the white of the eye also has a gray shade because there are certain highlights in the eye that shine because the rest of the white of the eye is gray. If you can see it, draw it. If you can't, then don't bother because otherwise it tends to look rather ugly. When you draw the lashes, notice the direction of each of the lashes. They're not all pointing outward. Depending upon their position, they will point in either straight up, forward, or sideways, or inside the eye. Now, all these little things like the shadow inside the corner of the eye, all of that is also a legitimate shadow, so you have to account for it. These shadows or the shading around the eye also makes a big difference. And then you'll notice that my eyebrow has gone really high up. So I can then, the space between, this is the distance comes in. This distance and this distance is almost the same in my reference image. And the eyebrows, I can actually see the lines. Thickness, the direction of the lines. It's quite easy to make the eyebrows. Now, each 10-minute sketch that you make like this will help reinforce your eye, reinforce how you see these objects, and also the quality of your line starts becoming stronger, surer, and more meaningful. I'm sure you must have encountered this in the past when there are, when you see certain artists who, with the briefest of strokes, are able to communicate a certain grace in the line. So I remember this was something that my mom spoke about very frequently. She would say it's all, I don't know how she noticed it or whether somebody brought it to her attention, that it's the grace of the line. One single line, eventually you will be able to tell a story. I didn't realize this eye has just got supernatural lashes. Must be quite a liability. Okay. Is this picture done in 10 minutes? All right. How is it looking to you? Is it looking okay? Satisfactory? Okay, not bad. Anita's is looking good. Aha, very nice, Elaine. Very nice. So now, usually I try to make our processes very forgiving. But in today's case, or this month with portraiture, and especially today's class, we have to try to be a little strict with our expectation. So now look for what is looking odd between what you have drawn and what your reference image is showing. Because these are the things that are going to change your face dramatically when it comes to making this feature on a full face. A slight change in angle can change the ethnicity, the age, even the identity. So always remember the difference between like a Shami Kapoor and a Shashi Kapoor is just different shapes on their face, nothing else, as far as we are concerned.
I tried that broken line one, but mine looks front facing instead of the side. The first one which you made the broken lines. So what do I do to change the angle? What am I doing now?
Wait, let me just have a look at that.
Is it
The
visible?
lips, right?
Yes.
Yeah, can
Is
you
it
see?
visible?
It is visible, but can
Okay.
you see that the right hand part of the lips, so this part, is much wider than it should be. Let me show it to you. One second. Let me just show you. If I were to measure this, and this is the center of the mouth, okay? If you see, if I take this distance here, what is the distance on the left? It's about so much, right? So there's almost 1.5 times width on the other side. Let me break this up. So you have twice or 1.5 times lip on the left as you have on the right. Now just measure yours, the ones that you have drawn, and see if that is the case. Because I have a feeling that you have mechanically extended the lip on the right to balance with the lip on the left. And that's why it's going to look like it's facing front.
My eye
Mm-hmm.
is different from the one in the picture because it hasn't got that upward tilt. You know, the angle?
Uh-huh.
The angle of that eye is almost like this, and mine is like this.
Okay.
Straight forward instead of,
Okay.
and that makes a big difference in the expression of that eye.
Okay. Could you share it on the group? Then I can look at it. Is it the same eye that I
No,
have
the
drawn? Or
Yeah, the one
proportion.
that you saw. Yeah, see how it's straight?
Yeah. Not only is it straight, but also it
Yeah.
is much wider than it should be. When it should be
Okay.
spread out.
Okay.
The proportion is fine. Like I'm getting those 4 lines, what you said, and I'm getting 2 on the right.
Can you
And
show me? No. Can you share the picture on the group?
yeah, sure.
Close up of that, and then let's break it up and see it. I'll share it on camera. In the meantime, I'll start drawing the mouth. Okay. So here again now, I normally draw the mouth from the center. So I'll first draw the center of the mouth, the joint, not the upper lip. And then usually the lower lip is overlapped by the upper lip. So I'll draw this gap first. So if this is the center of the mouth, this is where the mouth ends on the left, and this is where the mouth ends on the right, as far as the shapes are concerned. And then this comes almost parallel. Okay, can you see this? This is how it would look. Now, after we shade it, things become equally dramatic. And you'll also notice that there is an interesting shadow just a little away from the edge of the lip over here. So that there's a little highlight at the bottom of the mouth. We'll try to replicate all these shadows. Now here again, go back to what we did in pencil shading. Remember, we did different angles. So if you shade vertical, you will get one texture. You get like a one shade. And then depending upon the position on the lip that you want shaded, you can change the angle and make it more radiating. Now, whenever you draw teeth, remember this, teeth are never drawn as with a gap. And the shadow inside the mouth often is also not one dark shadow. So it has a dark edge, but you'll notice that there are teeth inside, which just look like they're gray. It's just a gray color inside. And then there's a very sharp edge on the bottom lip. Now, with respect to this dark shadow, everything else can become dark. So once you make something really dark, you have to check in tones with, in terms of tones, are the rest of the areas also matching? And also check size, because the moment you start shading more detail, sizes also change their meaning. My lip, I think, had become a little wider. So I'm making adjustments over here. Now again over here, we will be using the eraser, don't worry about that, but only after corrections. Because if you start using the eraser before correction, you'll end up making same mistake over and over again. And then to support the lips also, you can make shadows underneath the lip. This. And a little bit of shadow up here as well. But see that it's very subtle, otherwise it looks like a Hitler mustache. Okay, I'm just gonna check Janita's picture here. Richa, you shared your picture. So, in your case, Richa, I'm wondering if you can translate the lines. It's a very strong line that you've drawn, and you've got the shape more or less right. But I'm thinking that in many places you are probably thinking about the line rather than seeing the line. So, for example, if you look into the eye, can you just check if you see the eye as a full circle or a half circle? Start with that. I'm just helping you recognize the shape. Get it?
Right, got it.
So I'm going to just share this so that I can demonstrate where you have got things right and where a little adjustment can make the difference. So when you started out with the corner of the eye. That looks perfectly fine. Now, at some point, you decided that you wanted the eye to be straight. This is not something that you decide consciously. It just happens. Your brain just says, no, I don't want it like that. So instead of making the eye slant up, wait 1 second, I need reference. Yeah. So you got up to this point perfectly fine. Even this is fine, I think. And then somewhere, instead of taking the eye from here and then here, see, it went lower. It doesn't go this low. So it's just a matter of getting the shape right.
Hmm.
Now, if your eye had come over here automatically, can you see this is the area that you've occupied for the eyeball is exactly the same. But now, in order to accommodate or use so much space up, because there's hardly any room on top or below the eyeball in the reference image, you
Right.
had to make a full eye, because making it half at this level would just look very odd.
Right. Right.
Everything else you've got the lines, but they're just in the wrong angle or the wrong position. That's about it. Same with eyebrow. If you'd got this angle right, you could have got the eyebrow right as well. It looks like you're in the right direction, but you're just in the wrong position.
Got it.
Get it? Okay. All right. Now let me check with Tanushi. Could you share your picture upright, because then I can see it better. Yeah, Elaine, your lines are wonderful, in this. The eye, like that sketchy quality. One point though, the eyebrows, make them come from the inside of the eye to the outside. Right now, they look like they're going from out to in. Even the eyebrows, no out to in lines, inside to outside. As a stylized version of an eye, I love it. Don't change a thing. So that's great. But when you make these lines,
Just explain inside to outside what your eyelashes were talking about.
yeah. So
Okay.
both eyelashes,
From inside, yeah.
see this point over here, this point. This looks like the starting of the line, not the end. So it's very strong on top, but it goes into no space, and there's a gap between the eye and this line. So this can become
Right.
action line, where you're showing something has popped off from somewhere and is landing somewhere else. Likewise, in the eyebrows, making lines go in this direction. So you see the origin of the line is away, and it is going towards the inside of the eye. This is the inside of the eye. This is the inside.
I understand what you're saying. It was just, I think it's a habit, it's a lazy habit of a lefty.
Ah,
Instead
it-
of pushing out, I'm pulling in, which
Yeah.
is simpler. But I'll keep that in mind. I won't do that.
Yeah. So you might have to make an adjustment. Like right
Yes.
now, it's easy. This is how you're probably doing it.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
what
yes.
you could do is move your book a little to the left,
Vocal, right.
angle it like that,
And then,
force yourself to make a few lines
yeah.
are outside to in, but do them slowly. They
Okay.
seem to be done very fast also. Speed has no,
Yeah.
is not an advantage here. All right. Now moving on to Jainita. Okay. So Jainita, you have made one. Oh. Okay. So this is your center, right? And you have 1, 2, 3 sections here. Now here, you need to end the mouth over here only. So what you've drawn like this is fine. This is how it has to end. So this extra space, it's only always just so much. That part that has gone outside. This part. This is what is making the face look more facing to the front than to the side. That's all you need. Okay? All right, let me see what else we have. Tanushree, no? Oh, this Neeta's. Amulia's is looking nice. Oh, Amulya, even your eyebrow shape, has the line come from outside to inside or inside to outside?
From inside to outside.
Okay, so it can be a line that just goes outward and picks up. Do a takeoff of the line. Don't stop there.
Okay.
Now the lashes, again, the line is too firm. So they're not looking like this. This is how our lashes are. They usually taper out, right? So they start from somewhere strong, but they taper out. And in your case, I can see the lashes are either like this, or I think some places they're also going inward. So we don't.
I kind of did everything inside to out, but yeah, I just couldn't pick up the pencil once
Yeah.
I was going outward.
But you know what? Just practice this slowly.
Okay.
Maybe you're doing it too fast because they seem like short lines. The progression is very predictable, so we can do it. But you'd be surprised how it can disorient. So I would make these lines at a speed of like this, where you can control how far the line goes and how you're going to pick it up and where you're going to put pressure. Just
Okay.
this slowly. Even for something like eyebrows or eyelashes, makes a big difference.
Okay.
Okay, but the shape is good. The eye above is looking very nice. So that's good. Tanushree yeah. Tanushree is on the left eye. Let me see how that is looking. Yeah. All right. So in case of the left eye as well, you've got the shape. Okay. So here we have a few shading issues, Tanushree. When you are shading, I'm just going to draw this eye for you as well, so you can see how I will do it. Oh, sorry. So you've got more or less the idea of the shape. Okay. Start off, it's quite, let me make it a little lower. It's quite a large eye. So here you have how to check this is where does this line end? How long and far does the angle go? Then at what point does it turn around? The same thing can also be done this, and it will completely change the eye. Then you draw the inside of the eye. And now this angle is a little too steep, so I'm going to adjust the angle, bring it here. Now the shading part, I can see that you have shaded it with lines, and that's also fine to do. But maybe what you can do is make multiple lines. So right now I can see lines that are going sideways only in your sketch, yeah? But what you could do for the eye especially is make the lines radiating at least, because the iris usually has radiating lines, correct? And they could be lighter in the center and slightly dark towards the edge. This is perfectly fine. So if you want to go ahead with making lines, this can work. But now stopping at one layer of the lines might not be a good idea. Maybe make a second layer of a darker line along the edge. See? And it starts having more meaning. Now, the other part to remember also is that there is a shadow of the upper lid in this part of the eye. But it's slightly dark up here and then it becomes lighter. So everywhere you go, you do a little bit of shading and then you can start seeing the distances and shapes much better. Now for the eyebrows. Oh, my iris has become a little bigger than the reference image. Now, when you draw the eyelashes, I recommend in the beginning to start off with the eyelash drawn towards the center. Now, you'll notice that there is a whole line of lashes grows above the edge of the lid. Wait, I need to mute everyone. Somebody's microphone is making some noise. Oh, all right. So this is how you can do it. It's actually a loop. If you notice, eyelashes are like a loop. Sorry, here. Even the one in the front is like it looks almost like a hook. If you look close, these are the studies that we are trying to do. This is going to look very hyper realistic. Now for right-handed people, this is going to be a nightmare. This is for Elaine. But do take the time to draw a simple curve and a short curve at a time. Don't try to make it too big. Now this eye also has a little bit of makeup on the upper lid. And there's this dark shadow on the eye as well. This happens because we have eyelashes and a lid.
We are doing the gray blue eye, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. How did you notice makeup? Is it that little shine above the eyelashes or?
No,
Yes.
our eyes without makeup are, you don't have this kind of a dark line on top of the eye.
Oh.
And
Oh.
also these lashes are also mascara completely.
Yeah. Those, yes, you can see there's a little thickness in them too. But yeah, to notice that they don't have such a dark, we do not have such a dark crease, is it?
Yeah, we don't have.
Can't see without my glasses anyway. So if I take them off, I can't see a thing close by. Okay. So they accentuate that crease?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
That's how it works. Yeah. So normally, if you don't have mascara, just wear a heavier eyeliner, and that does the job of mascara as well. Now you know all sorts of makeup tricks by doing art. So these lines are all a little difficult for right-handed people. And likewise, on the other side, it's going to be difficult for Elaine. Like she's the only left-handed person in the world, but also in class. So I try to, today I was thinking only of Elaine. And I forgot.
thank you. But the one that we did before this was right-handed. So I finished my bad part
You did.
earlier.
Yeah. Okay, now even over here, that slight shadow above the eye is eyeshadow, because you can see that the skin color is lighter. And now here comes the challenging part, which I was trying to explain to Elaine earlier. Our eyebrows have to be drawn going from the inside and down to up. And this can be a nightmare for us, but you'd be tempted to make the lashes coming down. In case you're doing that, remember that the lash has to be light on the outside and thicker on the inside, like this, not the other way around. Or just make a few lines slowly, short few lines instead of long lines, and let them go in that direction. And at the eyebrow point, even if your line goes a few centimeters in the wrong direction, it really won't matter. It's good practice to make lines in the wrong direction. I hear that pencil yoga will have helped whoever has been doing it. Every time I say that, I remember my maths teacher from school who would give us tests or something, and then she would say, all those of you who are practicing your multiplication tables every day will get this very easily. And obviously I wasn't one of them. I regretted it every time she said it. And I believed her. But here now it's proof if you've been doing your daily and as you can see, my lines are wonky. So I have not been doing my pencil yoga every day. So we all suffer. Now the parts that you can't see, don't bother making the eyebrow. And if you want, just make a line, box the eye in. So it at least makes you feel happy that you only have so much information. Okay. All right, Tanushri, did you? I hope I've solved some of your problems. Okay. Let's see who's next. Neeta's again, same problem, eyebrows in the wrong direction, I think. Hello, Neeta, did you make the eyebrows in the wrong direction for this? Coming
Which,
like this?
no, I did some this way and some that way because
Okay.
they were just not looking little.
Okay.
So, acha, they're looking as if I've done in the wrong direction.
Well, from this side, they look like you've done towards the center.
Yes, yes,
All the way
yes.
to here, and then from here, it looks like they're going there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because I
But
was not.
again, problem with eyebrows is that we make them in a big rush. Don't rush through that shape. Every little line counts. Now, as you can see, the eyebrow is thinner inside, the way you
Yes.
draw it, and fatter
Yes.
outside. But
Yes.
even if it may appear fat, the lines are not so dark around that periphery.
Right,
Correct?
right.
So it's
Right.
just how you make the lines that will make a difference here.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Now for the nose, it should be relatively easy, I think. So I want you to look at this nose study. How this nose has first been built by using simple short line shapes and then shaded, made slightly deeper and then adding more contrast, more shadows. It has been completed. So let's try making one of these noses. Either one is fine. Okay, now here the shape that I would make would be, make it angular if you need. And this is slightly tough because the nose is basically just a sheet of skin over some cartilage. So we don't have as defined shapes as the eye or the mouth. And we have to create meaning literally out of folds of skin. So it could take a while for you to see certain shapes. Like, yes, we can see the nostrils, but around the nostrils, if you see that line first, you can make that. And based on that, you can then start creating the rest of the shapes with just shading. Here I can draw a highlight and shade a slightly light tone around the highlights, just so that the highlight shines out. There is another tiny highlight here. And do this cross shading, because that is also that with that you just move one line at a time. So cross shading, for those of you who weren't with us a couple of months ago, I just want to show you how you can do that. Just take a small circle inside a rectangle, and when you are shading, just shade this in one angle. Oh, sorry, the highlight. Just use one single line going from top to bottom. Don't go back and forth, just make lines, visible lines over here. Then change the angle and shade the circle inside. At 45 degrees. Then you can change the angle and shade, and this can be at 60 degrees. And here you can change it back and maybe make it at 0 degrees for a smaller crescent. And then we can give a shadow where you can just shade it dark. All right, so this is using lines. Keep changing the angle, which will help create that image. So the moment you want to darken an area, you can convert the angle, change it to what you've not done previously. See, this is just with lines, not going back and forth. But also notice where I'm holding my pencil, so that you can see everything clearly. If you hold your pencil too close, you don't have adequate mobility. And then we can, just for fun, make Little freckles on her face. The freckles are made by, again, this is a test in patients. Huh? You rub the pencil in one spot instead of just doing tuck, 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 tuck. Don't do that. All right. Now, should we attempt the front facing lady? Now, before we begin,
This nose is a disaster.
yeah.
I didn't realize noses are so difficult.
All right, let's see your noses first.
No,
No
no,
rush.
this one is like, I cannot tell you, my goodness.
Okay.
I'll just show it to you. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me just go to gallery. Let's see.
Once.
Janita's. Okay. Okay. So Janita, try and evaluate it. What has happened there?
Feel the angle also is not very proper
Hmm.
of the nostrils.
Okay, so
It's very
I'm
flat.
let's postpone the face to next week. I don't want to do that right now. Let
Yeah.
me share some
Yeah,
more.
absolutely.
Yeah. Let me share some more, some easy noses.
Okay, here's my nose.
Okay, how would you evaluate? Okay, it's not so bad. It looks
Very bad. What is there to
caricature.
evaluate?
Oh God. Okay, so line by line.
No, I think I need to do another few noses. Yeah, this is very bad. And this is the only way to do it from a real picture, because that's the skin tone.
Yes.
Uh,
Let me share some more images. Okay. Shall we try these? These are all facing the front. Okay, Tanshi's is good. Okay, so at whatever level you are sharing your images, I'll tell you what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for how well you have been able um, to get these parts right. So the size, shape, proportion, angles. More often than not, maybe you got the right shape, but it's not in the right direction or it's not in the right proportion. So it's like taking 4 or 5 different things that are right in different places, but putting them together and then seeing the result. So it's just minor tweaks that we need here or there. Now, when we are drawing this nose, the first nose that I've shared, maybe you can start off somewhat like this. Just try to look for some basic shape in this first. How about let's look for, make a circle or a rectangle first. Suppose the tip of the nose is a circle. Okay, and this is where your nostrils would come. And then around the nostrils would be the flap of skin. Now, once you've drawn this, then you have to compare. What is the width of this central circle in comparison to the edges? And that can be shown better with shading. So each little thing, it's a study of comparative sizes between this, then the nostril itself. See, mine is starting to become a little too wide, so I'm pulling it in a little bit. And then once your shading begins, then you can start. So start from the inside rather than the outside. Start shading from this part. I have a nice highlight here. Then go here. Now, some of you have a rather heavy hand. So for those of you, I just want you to examine when you are shading, is your entire hand moving without touching down? Because that can make your line very heavy. So what I want you to see, what you should do is place your hand down, hold your pencil far away so that you can see the geography around your shading, and move only your fingers. So this is something that unfortunately I can't see for most people. So in the live session, when I have my in-person classes, I get to see this of my students, and then I can just check with you guys if any of you are doing this. Frequently change the position of your hand. Don't keep it in one place and expect to draw all lines from that position. That's not possible. And be okay with connecting lines. Your first guidelines are often just temporary. Look at them as just temporary lines. Don't get attached to them. And slowly build on depth, on darkness. And do pay attention to this little shadow below the nose. That too gives the nose its protrusion on the face. Without it, the nose can just look like two slits. Now I'm just going to use, I don't even need to use the eraser. Oh, sorry. Now the second picture is quite a challenge because all the shapes look pretty much the same. But in time, you will be able to see subtle differences of angle, the shape of the nostril, for example. Some are pointing straight in front, some are pointing down. So if you keep
Colored. Sorry.
if you keep looking at them, you'll start seeing the differences. Just keep looking at all of them. And you'll see one has got a slightly plumper slow circle in the center. Some have got narrow, flat nostrils on the side. Some have got rounder nostrils on the side. Some have absolutely, the last nose does not even have dent over here. So it's a much straighter, flatter nose. The one on its left has got even more prominent dent between the nostril and the central part of the nose, the tip of the nose. So the more you look, the more familiar you'll become with its details. And then drawing it won't be different.
This collage of colored noses.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you look at it just like this, like pictures, they are so unappealing. And as you said, they're really flaps of skin over cartilage, you know. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like, I mean, if you just, I don't even associate it with the nose, it's just, oh, not nice. But yes, very illuminating as to how it's such soft curves. Nothing sharp about any of them except for that black.
Yeah.
In the last four,
Mhm.
the C3 is a baby's nose, right? Surprising how you can kind of, I think, make out it's a little Chinese baby.
Yeah.
C3, no?
Yeah.
So it's a softer, broader, shorter drawing, which
Yeah.
makes it look like a baby. Meaning, if we didn't see the eyes or anything, you could still kind of think it's a baby.
Yes. So the reason for that is because all the features of the body,
Huh?
the extremities or everything is actually moving outward. So when you have like barring the eyes, the eyeball, in fact,
Huh?
everything, all the sizes change. So as you grow older, the shape of the eye becomes wider. The eyebrows, nose, mouth, everything shifts away. Okay, so let me show you.
What did you mean by moving upwards? Is it something to do like later on gravity pulls everything down, or is it going upwards, meaning?
No, it's not upwards. So if you
Yeah.
have, these are the eyes. You're
Yes.
with eyes, nose, and
Yeah.
mouth, which is like this.
Okay.
You're much closer.
Hmm.
Then everything moves away. So
Ah,
it
okay.
will move away.
Outwards, yeah.
Nose grows longer and
Ah.
mouth goes further, and everything starts going outward.
I see. So when it is as babies, everything is kind of concentrated in the middle with a bigger thing around, and
Correct.
it'll make it look childish.
Yeah. And also it is concentrated like this. You have the eyes, these only shift slightly apart.
Okay.
The size remains the same. So everything moves away from here. So if you were to keep the eyes as a constant focus,
Oh.
you'll notice that as the person ages, all of this will have grown. The eyes will have moved slightly to the sides because our face grows as well. But the rest of it grows significantly and continues to grow. So even our ears, older people have got longer ears than younger people.
Yeah, that's got a lot to do with gravity too.
I don't know whether it's gravity or
Huh?
just, I guess there's no other place for the skin to grow than
Except
upward.
downwards. Everything is downwards.
That may be so. That may be so. Okay, I'm going to try drawing one more nose. C1, we can try drawing C1. So new members who've joined recently, don't get scared. This is just 1 month. After this, we can still go back to having the fun classes. This is, I think everyone can vouch. Everybody wants to do this, but it's one of the toughest. So it's just once a year I will do something like that. But there's hardly any class where you are not allowed more freedom than this. The funny part, however, is that the skills that you require to make a portrait are pretty much the same skills that you require to sketch a tomato. Just the level of accuracy with which you can see and with which you can execute. That's all that is different or more advanced. So the moment you can see a person's face like you look at a tomato, you will be able to at least do the observation part more accurately. It's quite an interesting philosophy in this. To remove labels and just look at shape and color and position, proportion, and it doesn't matter who it is, you will be, or what it is. It's all pretty much the same. It's all created with lines. Okay, so Jainita, Anushri, and Neeta, I'm going to share some images of eyes with you. I think 3 of you need to do more eyes first. One reason being that it's much more rewarding than noses. Because there are shapes, eyes and mouths. Okay, do those first. Elaine and Amulya, I think, have done more of that in the past. So I think their stumbling block will be the nose. So they can continue with the nose.
I'll just send you my nose sketches on the group.
Yeah.
These black and white ones have helped.
Okay. Oh, where am I looking? Once you finish single eyes, during the week, if you have time, make the two eyes, left and right. Okay. Oh, theirs is looking good. Elaine's yours is looking nice, yeah. I don't know why you're feeling bad. It's good.
Thanks. The black and white improved them. My nose is crooked, so I've straightened it. The
Okay.
one that is also big.
Okay, okay. Richa, hold the book. Always hold the book. Yeah, Richa, you can also first try the eyes and then go for actually this week just try the eyes. Don't even go for the mouth or the nose. We'll do that next week. Okay? So before we end, we still have another 5 minutes. Would you want to try one more of the eyes? There's one eye which doesn't have an eyebrow, the first one that I've shared. It's quite dramatic. Maybe you could try that.
Aditi, which one is this? Sorry.
I've just shared new images. Before you, the image that you shared,
Yeah.
just
Okay, before that. Okay. Ah,
so now the lashes that I'll make them separated. So I'll make few in different areas, not all from left to right. And then I will populate them more evenly. This helps in creating a nice angle. So when you're shading, Richa, Neeta, Tanushri, and one more person, Janita. Just see if your hand is moving smoothly across the paper. So you just need to do a back and forth action. A very gentle back and forth. If nothing else, just practice creating a little gray patch in the paper whenever you have spare time, literally. So it's a matter of pressure, how much control you have over the pressure you put on paper. And predictability also. So whether you are in control of the line or the line is in control of you. Okay. All right. Any questions? So our entire 1.5 hour today has gone in doing face parts. So I don't think it was very tiring, was it? Was it very tiring? Pretty okay, right? So you can do this through the week. Take longer, do it in a longer session. Because unlike, say, calligraphy or something, where you have to focus on one shape so long that it can fatigue you, over here, the more you focus on one shape, one feature, the better you are able to see differences between those features and also study the lines that you have made even more critically. It's not very tiring because it's a very basic shape. You still have to refine making only a basic shape. We're not making the lines very complicated. The movement, the shading, the drawing is all very simple. It's not too kids cut. I don't know how to translate that into English. Marathi has got these very nice words. It's just very like,
What's the word? What's the word?
kids cut. Kids cut is just being a little fastidiousness, that kind. Something very loose. All Marathi words, many Marathi words are onomatopoeic. So if you feel it, you can say it, and the other Marathi person will understand exactly what you're trying to say. So I'm hoping that this moves into other languages as well. So since the task is not very kids cut, you will be able to do it for a longer period of time. Now make of it whatever you want to. Okay. All right. So next week we will continue with more of these features because I'd rather do this part and set you off on a nice track to practice portraiture through this month. And hopefully last week of May, if we can, I'll try and bring in the caricature. If I forget, Elaine, please remind me. Because today is the 8th, right? So there's a good chance we might have a 5th class this month. Today's the 9th.
8, I wonder it is. I'm traveling at the end of the month. I hope I am here on a Tuesday.
30th of May is a Tuesday. So we're just getting in one more class.
30th, but no, we'll be traveling early morning. I'll be there in time for class.
Okay.
Chandigarh, I'll be there.
Okay. All right. So I'll catch you all next week. Bye, everyone.
And next week, if I have just a pencil and my book, it should be okay.
Yes.
Don't need to carry watercolors and stuff.
No. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Neeta, come to Pune.